Good morning. Good morning. Waiting for someone to come into the room so I can get the show started here. There we go. Good morning and welcome to my live stream. Um, it's a warm welcome, and wherever you're listening from, I'm glad you found me. We're here this morning to talk about how to fight with CPS. I'm your host, Bob Pace. Now, I've been doing this live stream twice a day, 7 days a week, month after month, week after week, month after month. I've been doing it for over 25 months, over 2 years that I've been doing this live stream twice a day. Now, this live stream um, is about how I can help you fight CPS and hang on to your children or keep your family together. Things you should not do. This is from firsthand experience from myself, who once was a victim of CPS, and from 3,050 people so far I've talked to over these last 25 months. Now it's December 2nd, our second day of Advent, and we are moving along with the weather in different places, different temperatures, and different this and different that. But it's a real struggle. And for those you don't know what CPS stands for or what it is, or most people do know it. The problem is they find out it too late to do anything about it. And that's what I'm trying to tell you is preventive ways of how to avoid this government entity that was started by an act of Congress in 1962 that mandated that all the social workers in the social, I mean, not all social, all the social services in every county in every state. Now, these social services have been already structured, so it's easy for Congress to direct them. It was easy for them to correct them. Now, I see someone that came in at 9:49 and it said, "Did I do something wrong?" I don't know what I did. I was just asking a question for somebody. Georgia, you did nothing wrong. Welcome. Hopefully you're still around. I hope you come back, Georgia, but you're in the room here that is live about issues with CPS. Now, I was just telling everybody about how it got started in 62. It's a long time coming because we've been more concerned about our animals and our children, protecting them. If you know anything about the SPCA, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, has been around a lot longer than CPS. Now, we've been trying to take care of our children over the last 400 years that the United States has been around. You know, a lot of people are saying we're celebrating 250 years of the United States. Well, that's when we declared our independence from Great Britain, from England, from the United Kingdom. That's when we became a individual country. But it didn't stop in 1776. They came back in 1812 and burned the White House down. That was a very tragic moral thing to the people here. But that's the only time that we had invaded forces in the United States. And so a lot of people are really, why are we always going to other countries instead of dealing with our own? Well, we are trying to deal with our own. We have a very strong president, and he is investigating the child protection system. It needs to be investigated. It is corrupt. 50% of the entities are corrupt. What I mean by that is that they tend to see to not do family reunification. Now, this child protection system, which I call it, I abbreviate for CPS. It also can be called the Child Protection Services, CPS. That is found in Orange County, California. But next door, it's Department of Children and Family Services. So it's a little bit different, but it's still child protection system. And in Prescott, Arizona, the home of the pink ladies that decided to wear pink t-shirts that had on the front professional child kidnappers, and on the back they said, "Parents, you know where your children are at," sent out the wrong message. Of course, they were fired, all 8 of them, along with the director. But that didn't help the people of Prescott. The only thing I can find that Prescott is known for is a lot of the Billy Jack movies were made there. If you know anything about Billy Jack, it was in the 70s, early 70s, when a martial art guy who had a Native American heritage came back and trying to protect the children and the Native Indians. It's Prescott has several reservations there. I've been trying to learn about it since these pink ladies kind of put it on the mark there. But anyway, I'm trying to do something a little different. Every time I try to start my show, I try to introduce something a little different because I do a lot of talking on the show, and I really like you guys to do the talking, either the calling in or sending me a message. And to send me a message, all you have to do is text a question or a comment about Child Protection System, CPS. All you do is you state your first name and your location. And if you're outside of the United States, put your country too. People in the United States, you don't need to list the country. And that's all there is to it. So that's a banner I put up there on the screen for you to look at. Now, besides Prescott, Arizona, we go to Richmond, Kentucky. It's called the Cabinet. So there's many places. There's another one last night that they were talking to me about, and I believe the state was North Carolina. It's DSS, Department of Social Services. So whatever the name is, when I say CPS, I mean all of the entities out there. They're supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse, but somehow over 1,000 children go unprotected every day. Now that seems a lot of people. I mean, in 1 month or 52 weeks, that's 5,200 children that are lost out there. Now I know there are millions of children that are homeless. And for a lot of reasons. So when I talk about the CPS, I talk about the good and the bad. The good and the bad. It's a necessary government agency, but it's gone rogue. It's gone corrupt. Money is their greed. It's become too easy to steal the money, to take the money, to give the money away as bonuses. And it doesn't help when the government decided in 1997, when President Clinton signed into law, the Incentive Act. It's an act which says that if the child protection system in that county gets a child adopted through foster care, they get a reward of $35,000. $35,000 is paid from the federal government directly to the CPS entity where that foster child was adopted. So there's incentive, which means they don't try family reunification. Now, family reunification is when CPS finds it necessary to break the family apart because the children are in danger. But many times they break the family apart and they're not in danger. They're not in danger. They're very anxious to get the child case number because that way they'll get money every day for that child. Not every day, but once a month. They get additional $20,000 per month per child to supposedly take care of the children. And then some of these agencies have the gall to have the parents pay support, not to a spouse or something like in a divorce, but they pay support to the state to support CPS. People that are having a hard time with income have to pay. One person told me for each child it was $10 per month that they're paying. So if they had 4 children, that's $40 a month times 12. That adds up. That adds up. So it's hard. It really is really hard. Now I want to also mention another way of interacting with this live stream is to be a guest. And you can be a guest on my live stream by just picking one of my 14 live stream shows. Now I'm on at 10 o'clock Monday through Friday in the morning. Again, I'm on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. And then every night of the week and the weekend, I'm on at 7 p.m. Now, those times I've given you are all Pacific Standard Time. I'm broadcasting live south of Los Angeles, a place called Surf City, USA. And I'm 3 blocks from the ocean. It's nice where I live because I have a beach you can walk to, and it's great for timeouts. I love that beach. I love the ocean. I'm a water person. And I especially love the sea and the ocean. They go hand in hand. But if you're going to be a guest, all you do is you pick one of my 14 live streams, or you can pick all 14, because I can have up to 9 people on my live streams. You just send me an email. My email is listed there, bobp@vincentwdavis.com. All I need is 3 things from you: your name, your email, and your phone number. Actually, 5 things: the time you want your show. So you just say, I want to be on Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Friday night show, or Bob Wednesday morning, or Monday night. Doesn't make any difference. It's just one day a week, or all 7, and the times, are either 10 or 8 in the morning or 7 at night every night of the week. When I get your request, I'll forward it on to my show producer, who in turn will send you a link to get into my live stream, which I use a software called StreamYard. It also uses YouTube to send or make it live on live stream. To make it live, they use YouTube. Anyway, you'll get that link and you copy and paste in your browser. If you get knocked off, put it again. It'll work. It'll work for the length of the show. And you'll be able to join me and talk with me and talk with others and help other people. One thing about this live stream is that we try to help one another. Now, hello there, Andrea. And you're from Kankakee. Is that outside of Chicago in Illinois? Kankakee. Andrea, because I think I know who you are, Andrea Face Cuss. You have several different handles, but welcome. And I think you're trying to finish your story or trying to get additional help. But am I correct that Kankakee is from outside the city of Chicago, Illinois? Kankakee. Let me look that up. I'm not hearing a response. Kankakee. Yep, it's in Illinois. I am right. And wow, what a beautiful Victorian home or California craftsman home they show right off the bat. Wow. You got, you're cold today. It's 23 degrees in Kankakee. And you got snow. You got snow tomorrow. I don't know how many inches, but you got snow coming. And on Thursday, it's going to be sunny, but it's going to be 14 degrees. But here are all these cool pictures of Kankakee in Illinois. Beautiful playgrounds, pools with water slides, these old-style homes at the turn of the century homes. I love that. And then some modern homes. There's the French Heritage Museum. Great presentation, Cobb Park. Wow, canoe landing. It looks like it's a fun place. And the Harley Bradley House. I like that place. And then the County Museum. So it's repeated again. And you're south of Bradley, you're near the 57 freeway. Okay. Well, I learned a lot about Kankakee. And it's terrible that you tell me the CPS there is corrupt. With a town looking like that, I can see why you live there. I love the ocean, so I have to be around the ocean. But if I didn't love the ocean, Kankakee looks like a nice place to live there. I love old style stuff. I love Victorian curtains. I love vintage stuff. I love vintage stuff. I love vintage stuff here. So you have a question for me, Andrea, that I can help you out with? I'm going to put my phone number up so you can call me. There's my phone number, you guys. You can call me at 626 698 0990. That's the direct line. And my phone is on, it's live, and you can be live asking your question. When you call in, you'll be live on the show. And everybody will hear you and I discuss. So, my number's up. And the second number you see there, the 888-888-6582 number, is the law offices of the attorney I work for called Vincent W. Davis. He's been fighting CPS for 40 years in court. He's gotten back thousands of children. So 40 years is a long time. He once was in foster care himself, so he knows about the foster care system. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I have a really great foster mom that comes on here all the time from Montana. Her name is Betty Joe. But she's a foster mom, and she's one of the legit foster care people. Sad, there are bad people in foster care as there are bad people in the child protection system. CPS has gone corrupt about 50% of the time. Now, the over 3,000 people, 3,050 people I've talked to had a problem with CPS, as well as I did. They take your children when they're not in danger. They try to barge themselves into your home, twist things around. They lie, they retaliate, and they have no accountability. There's no watchdog over CPS until this January when they started this agency called the Government Efficiency Agency. It's an agency, a government agency started by our president. One of his campaign promises that he investigate all the government agencies and see which ones are really taken from the government. I mean, there are checks being sent out to people that don't work, that sit at home. There are checks being sent out to people that are dead. There's a lot of wasteful money being spent on the government, and that's what he's looking into. Because he wants to save trillions of dollars. Now, he's got himself up to the billions, but he's not there at the trillions yet. There's been found a lot of wasteful, and they're letting a lot of people go, which is hard if they actually were working. Now, they're not letting people go there working. I think what he's trying to do is weed out the freeloaders, because our government every so many months has to decide where they get money to pay bills. And the only money the government gets, is from taxes, taxation. That's what, pays for the government. I don't think too many people give the government a dime. I think most people try to take from the government than give the government. I mean, there's talk about eliminating the IRS. Well, that's fine. Maybe what they could do is mandate that 10% of your paycheck would go to the federal government every time you get a paycheck. And that way you wouldn't have to worry about filling out a form or proving the money. The money just comes like they do now. All of you have gotten stimulus checks, so they have a way to get it into your bank account. Now, some of you may not want to do that, but then you don't get stimulus checks. Anyway, there's too much wasteful spending in CPS. There's a case going on in Richmond, Kentucky, where they caught a guy embezzling funds. Now, there's been over $1 million missing in federal funds given to the city or the counties in Richmond, Kentucky. That needs to be investigated, and it is. They caught a social worker that's embezzled $600,000 of that $1 million. I mean, this is the problem. CPS is very complicated. No one is a watchdog over them until recently. And I hate to say, money is the greed of all evil. I once had a lot of money. I once had a forever home, but I lost it all to CPS. I did appreciate it, but my CPS story was terrible. It started in the summer of 2010 when I lost my job through no fault of my own in August. And apparently what had happened is my in-laws, my wife's mother and father, and her 3 sisters and her brother, decided to call into CPS. See, that's the problem when you have lay people. You have the same problem with professionals. But the lay people lie most of the time. They only get it right 30%. 70% of it is for retaliation, meaning they don't like the way your neighbor grows his yard on your yard. Instead of talking to the neighbor and working out a solution, they call up 911 and make a false claim against the neighbor, like saying the children are running loose in the yard with no clothes on. Well, it's a hot summer day and the children are small, like 1 or 2 years old, or like infants. That may be okay in your own confined your home. But apparently, this person that had whatever vindictive reason against their neighbor said to CPS, and of course, CPS, every story they hear, anytime someone calls into CPS, they believe it's true, you're guilty until you're proven innocent. You're guilty. So they treat you as a guilty party. And I don't know if the personality of social workers have changed or what. I have no idea why they're so harsh on people, because the misfortunes are not up in the wealthy. They're, average so income. Now, that is the problem with corruption within CPS. To avoid that, you got to follow my 5 rules. I have 5 rules. 1, get an attorney. 2, document. 3, say no. 4, use the internet. And 5, make copies of all your important documentations. Those are my 5 rules to go by. If I had followed those rules, I would never have my children stolen. my children were trafficking into a shelter. It was a horrible, horrible shelter. It was next door. Well, their play yard was adjacent to the juvenile prisoners. And let me see. Someone may have just texted me a message. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, thank you, Christina. Yep, there's elder abuse. I just see it right now, Christina. So, wow. She had put together a synopsis for me, and I'm so glad to have it there. She's very informative. She has put together so much for me. I just got a text message from, let me go ahead and go back to the comment that came in here. Aaron, good morning there, Aaron. Aaron's from Tennessee. And yesterday she called in and talked about how she lost her first two children. She's trying to hang on to her third child, but it's really, really, really hard. I have from area code 408. I don't know where that is. But good morning. My name is Joy. I live in Fresno. Okay, 408 is Fresno, California. I was asking questions on YouTube. Need help. I need to speak to someone who wanted to help me, represent me, and be able to listen to my complex situation because I've been violated against my rights by several different entities, CPS and police department, and the school district, and my ex-husband. I have proof, I have documentation of CPS and the lies, and not allow me to represent my evidence. The court lawyer who was supposed to take care of me told the judge he couldn't during a court hearing. My case lasted only 4 months, and they gave me 0 visits, took my rights away without evidence. The father kidnapped my daughter, basically wouldn't return her to me. I finally found out where he lived. I went and had the police meet me there. My daughter is autistic and easily influenced by the father. I was manipulated by the father to say lies on me. He was telling my daughter he was going to give her a 15-year party. It was all a lie. Well, Joy, I'm so sorry that is happening to you. If you come on the show, which I think you've been on the show, and call and talk to me, that's great. But that is terrible from Fresno, California. And Fresno is a bad area with CPS. I know that for a fact. So, Aaron from Tennessee, what do you have new for me today? You want to finish your story? And Andrea, do you have any new questions to ask me? I'd love for you to ask me that. Now, I was briefly talking about that number, 888-888-6582. That's the law office of Vincent Davis. Now, when you call in, you're going to represent reception. You're going to speak to reception. Now, make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. It's important they know that. And also, if you talk to Mr. Davis, that tell him I sent you too. He needs to know you and the loop, and that will get you in there to reception a lot easier and to talk to attorney Vincent Davis. Because he does want to help. He has a job, he charges for his services, but he also tries to help out people. He does live streams like me. He has talk shows on radio. He does a lot. He'll go out there. In fact, one time he tried to get everybody to come to a presentation, and I'm the only guy that showed up. It's pretty sad. He went to expense of all this food and all this stuff set up at a hotel. It's a couple years ago, and it was pretty impressive. He has a lot of ideas. He's a brilliant man. He is well schooled in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those are the 3 areas of law that CPS is involved in. Dependency court, family law, and juvenile. Juvenile for children under the age of 18. Under the age of 18. Family laws is usually involved divorce, but it's also used in CPS matters. And dependency law is where they talk about the child who's dependent of the parents, who's been shifted over to be dependent of the county, of the CPS firm. So that's why I'm saying, anytime you're looking for an attorney, you got to find an attorney that has that kind of background. Now, Vincent meets that criteria many times over because he's also a trial attorney. He's a criminal attorney. He can do trials. Now, CPS matters are not done in trials. I think they should. I think it's a big mistake that a jury should be the one that tells whether a person is guilty or not guilty. In fact, how it works in dependency court, The judge there will make the ruling. And one man is making a ruling that will affect the family for years on end. I had an awful judge. He is elected by the people, but somehow people don't like to vote for judges. His background was not where it should have been. His background was in automobile claims and property damage. What kind of attorney would be able to do that to deal with children? It was all political. It was all a sham in court. Now, when my three children were taken, I wanted to get them back. And I started off with a court appointed attorney because I couldn't hire one. But after I saw the performance and how she fell flat on her face, it was a joke. My wife had an attorney, it was a joke too. So it was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. Now we have about 15 minutes left of my live stream. I have to end it at 11 o'clock. Sorry, you guys. I was trying to open up a bottle of orange juice. My mouth is dry. And what I was trying to do was quench it a little bit. Sometimes when you talk, you need it like that. Anyway, I'm sitting here talking again. You guys have resigned myself to do, you like to listen to me, I guess. But I do want to help you. So if you have a question, such as Joy, I read your text message to me. Christina Reynoso, I know you're there. And she's from Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. And she just sent me a thumbs up. Thank you, Christina Reynoso. You're a beautiful person. You really are. Oh, boy. Okay, we got a phone call in. Good morning. This is Bob Pace on live stream with CPS. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to? Yeah, I learned a lot about Kankakee. I love your little town. They, oh, wow. Right.
hearing that occurred in November on the 19th because they refused to show my evidence in court that yes, I did a psychiatric evaluation. As a matter of fact, I went to the North Cliff, the hospital here in Kankakee, which is called Riverside. I did an intensive outpatient therapy for 1 month, which was a dual program for substance abuse and psychiatric. And I passed, they got a certificate, they wrote a letter that said I had breathalyzer every day, I don't need any medicine, I saw the doctor once a week, I passed everything's fine, and they refused to acknowledge that. I also went through a psychiatric evaluation for the person they wanted me to go to, which was an hour drive north of Kankakee outside of Chicago. Went to that person, got a dual assessment from them that I don't need psychiatric medication.
What is this appeal in November? What was this appeal in November called? What was it called?
No, it wasn't an appeal. It was a permanency hearing.
Okay.
It was like saying, did Andrea do her services?
Permanency.
And they all said I didn't complete my services, which I did.
Permanency. Just a second. I'm looking it up for you. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to spell permanency. Permanency. T-A-C-E.
Permanency.
Yeah, it's E-N-T-A-C-E. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's okay. I was going to look up something else first, but you asked me that question. There's no statute of limitations for the permanency hearing process itself in Illinois. But the first permanency hearing must be scheduled within 12 months of the child being placed in temporary custody. The court will hold substantially permanency hearings every 6 months until a permanency goal, such as reunification, adoption, or guardianship, is achieved. So what was the goal that they were trying to do there with the permanency hearing?
But if you were going to send her back to Ohio, where I'm from in Cleveland, for a biological dad, or send her home to me. But just telling the judge that I did not complete my service plan.
Okay. What you should have done right away, when the attorney didn't present that, I would contact the state of the Chicago. What's the capital of Chicago? Waukegan? Springfield. I would contact the Springfield civil rights coordinator. Well, no, I'd first contact the state bar there at Springfield. And you say that you want to make a complaint against attorney. You have to give them the attorney's name. And if you have his license number, that'd be great. And what you make your complaint on is that he refused to present facts and give example that your case plan was met. And you have the documentation to show it. And the court-appointed attorney refused to do so. It also gives you set up for a lawsuit against that court-appointed attorney. You could also sue him in civil court for negligence. It's called the word negligence. And negligence can be a big, large amount of money there. So, again, that requires you to be an attorney or have the knowledge of being an attorney or have an attorney to do that lawsuit. Now, as far as your appeal of that first permanency hearing, was that one done in November?
It was like the third one. They keep on
Oh, okay. Well, can you remember the first? Can you remember what the first one was? What happened there? The first one.
You know what? So the courthouse is literally, because there's a very small town, Kankakee. The courthouse is like 4 blocks because I live in a historic district here.
Yeah.
So this big old Queen Anne.
Yeah.
So I could just like go up into the statue. I would get a minute because it's so long and so confusing. But I want to ask you something. So the parenting class, I took one online that was it was credited in the state with CPS, it's credited in Illinois, and also accepted in Kankakee County Court.
Okay.
They denied it.
What? Who? When you say they, who denied it? Okay. Well, you need to tell CPS Again, you're going to have to go to the supervisor or the director. If that doesn't work, then you go to Springdale and speak to the civil rights coordinator and make a complaint and tell them they refused to honor you. Your civil rights were violated. And it's nothing to do with, sometimes people think civil rights is only for black and white. No, it's not about black and white. Civil rights can be a lot of things. For instance, there's the U.S. Constitution. There's the Fourth Amendment, the First Amendment, whatever. If any of those are violated, the civil rights coordinator in Springville will help you. And you, if you've gone to the supervisor in CPS in Kankakee, and if you've gone to the manager and you've gone to the director, those are the three levels that I believe the county has there. What do they call their CPS? What do they call their CPS? Okay, Child and Family Services. So the director of Child and Family Services denied you. Did he deny you in writing or was it a verbal?
No, ignore my request on email. So I went to this, okay, I got a server, right? I went to their supervisor, and their supervisor. So I went 3 years up beside the caseworker.
Right. And do you have any documentation? Do you have any documentation that you sent emails? Okay, good. All right. What you do is you put those group of emails together, you fill out a form with a civil rights coordinator, and you forward it on to them. And the same thing goes for your attorney. When you file a complaint against his license, you send an email that you had with your attorney. See, that's why I tell people documentation. What I mean by documentation, anytime you talk to somebody, you should always follow up with a letter or an email. A lot of people forget it. You know, they have a verbal meeting and then no one writes a summary of what was said or understood. Right. So I tell people that you need to do an email as a follow-up to any meeting you have with somebody. Also, if you have a documentation, a timeline of every time you met with somebody, an incident timeline, it's where you take a sheet of notebook paper and the first 3 lines used for each incident.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So,
I've been listening to you for about 2 months now.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Well, I'll go past my time. I'll go past my time. Go ahead.
Thank you. So when I was telling you about my caseworker lying about my background, saying I had to solve charges with a rifle, she mentioned it to 3 different service providers. She mentioned it to a psychological sexual evaluator. She mentioned it to the psychological evaluation doctor. And she also told the when there's a 4-time-a-year meeting here. It's called CPS or something where someone from Springfield gets on the line and talks about your case. So in early October, she told this person at that meeting that was on the line with us also that she's afraid of her. That's why I have to meet my daughter when I do, an hour away from here, in a little office in a DCF, a little crappy area, because she's afraid for her safety because I have assault with rifle charges. And she told 3 people that I have that, and she's lying about my background, and I do not. So my question is, how can I sue her about that with the documentation from 2 doctors, a psychiatrist and a psychosexual evaluation, like they call it forensics. And then also the CFM, the meeting that is poorly on the line with her supervisor, on the line with me, and the lady in Springfield, and those 2 here. And she also mentioned on that phone call that I have a record with a rifle. So how can I start that?
Okay. Question for you. Can you get a reproduction of your criminal record? Can you get something from? Okay. Yeah.
For some Christmas money, and they did one. And then I applied for my own background check to the state of Illinois a couple months ago, and nothing comes up about a rifle. So yes, I did that already.
Right. Well, that's your documentation, and that is what you put together. Again, it's hard because you're trying to do it pro se. What I mean by pro se, you're trying to be your own attorney, and that's where. And I
I don't
know,
want to spend any money. I don't want to spend any
yeah,
because I'm going to your advice before I get my lawyer because I'm going to get all my paperwork together. Those dates, those times, those documents where those people sent in their own reports that I have assault with a rifle and my own background check. I got all that. And
good,
I'm not trying to do this by myself, but I want to get all my paperwork together, my dates together, my documents, my times, and all the stuff I need before I call a lawyer.
right,
But my
right.
question still is, what can be done about them saying that against me?
Well, they can constantly. Anybody can say anything against you. If it's
Right.
if it's something in the neighbor where it's libel, you can sue them for libel in civil court. As far as trying to do something criminal, that's where the district attorney comes into play. The attorney of your city would have to file something criminal against somebody, and uh, and you could bring it to the district attorney. You could write to the district attorney and say that you're being harassed, or maybe your character is being liable against, and they'll talk to you. By the
I
way,
mentioned people, when they have this biased opinion before I walk through the door to get an assessment, think that I have assaulted someone with a rifle. So what do you think their outcome is going to be when they think that they're talking to someone that has assaulted people in the streets of Kankakee with a rifle?
well, yeah, I understand that you're going to have to clear your character, and again, this is where lawyers are different than people that are pro se, because you got to leave your emotions at the in the closet. You
I
can't
know,
you can't. I know
right?
you're getting excited. And it's okay. It's okay for you and I that talk excited. But when you talk with these
I know.
politicians and you talk to government people, and what I mean by government people, everybody that works for doesn't work for the White House. I'm talking government means people that work anywhere that are in a form of city government. There's federal government,
Mm-hmm.
government, and county government and city government. So um, you have to kind of do a lot of homework on the internet, learn all the different departments, learn how to. I mean, the internet is so valuable. And with this AI now and Chat GPT, I'm finding all kinds of stuff I never could find out before. And as I
Oh,
do my rule number 4 is how you paraphrase your question. Like I put in Kankakee, um, Illinois, and the letters CPS after that, and then type my question. And lo and behold, I get
okay.
that. I get that. I get that. And so that's what I do. It's a secret in here because when people ask me, I try to know everything. I remember everything. Because when you talk to 3,000 people, you're definitely going to remember something. And when you work for as long as I've worked, 61 years, in all kinds of jobs and all kinds of fields. And when you're a world traveler, traveling to over 50 countries and almost all 50 states, and live in several countries and know the cultures and stuff, I have a vast wealth of information. Like people I tell all the time, you need to check out, get a legal insurance. People say, what is legal insurance? Well, it's money, just like life insurance or home insurance. When you have a disaster, which the legal matter is, you got resource there to hire an attorney. And that's what legal insurance is
Gotcha.
all about. I mean, people do pet insurance because taking a pet in, people don't have $1,000 to have a dog or a cat worked on. So that's why they have pet
Right.
insurance. Same thing with a home. If you have a hurricane or a tornado, you're going to have a home insurance. They have also
Yeah.
appliance insurance. Your washer or dryer goes out, your refrigerator, your air conditioning, that kind of insurance. They even have car repair insurance because your engine goes out, your transmission. People today are keeping their cars more longer than they are buying new cars because new cars are so expensive. It isn't,
Right.
you know,
But
a car is as much as a house used to be. Houses now are getting outpriced in California. I mean, you cannot get a house for under $500,000 in California. I mean,
wow.
you cannot. I mean, homes where I live are in the $1 million mark and higher. I mean, I'm surrounded by
Yeah, when you were on the ocean.
right, exactly, land, land, land. But you have a pretty place too. But I realized the crime rate in Kankakee is 17% per 1,000 people. Okay. But it's lower than the state average. The state average is 4,195 for 100,000 people. It's also lower than the national average of 3,906 for 100,000 people.
Chicago's one of the third biggest cities in the United States.
Yeah.
And that's why because compared to that, Chicago is like the worst. You know,
Well,
moved here for the summer. So I mean, I'm south of the city.
well, they say that the cheapest place to live in Illinois is Campton Hills. I don't know where that is. And it has a zero crime rate. It's in Kane County. Excellent schools and community. I mean, that was in Campton Hills, Illinois, wherever that is. But you know, it's I know that you think you're not there, but Campton Hill is the safest city. They even have a ranking. Liberty Hill's second. Libreville. Pine Grove, Illinois is third. Western is fourth. Naperville is 5. Yeah, so you got Naperville. Yeah. Well, I moved into a neighborhood that I thought would be nice. I moved into a neighborhood that had California bungalows, and it was always single family homes. What happened was the zoning, the area that I learned a very valuable lesson, and I'd like to share with you listeners and with you. Always make sure the zone that you're in is an R2, which means zone for 2 or less people. It was zoned R4, which means that they can have a 3-story block apartment, like 10 units, no yard requirements, and put it right in between 2 California bungalows on top of it. And they use every bit of the space on that lot. The problem is that this home where I bought, it was in Long Beach. Long Beach is really bad in developing its city. It had an old town and a new town. Well, the problem is they didn't know what to do about apartments as apartments came in. They should have designated an area for apartment living, area for single family living, but they didn't. So I bought a home, and I bought it because of the price. It was expensive. It was $110,000 for a 2-bedroom home. It was built in 1910. 1910 it was built, and it was pure mint condition as a corner home. And I loved that. I drove by there the other day to look at it. And it's still, today, still a beautiful home taken by loving people, but it's surrounded. It's like it's all dark and dingy because these 3-story apartment buildings are made in there. And they had to put a fence around the home because people would play in their yard. So, I know that you bought a beautiful home and you think there, but I'm telling old people when they're looking for a home, you need to see what the rate of CPS is. How much is being investigated. You need to see what the values of homes. It's so hard buying a home, and we do sometimes go by our gut feelings. Now, my second home was in a gated neighborhood, and my job afforded that, but it was still close to the beach. But it was a gated neighborhood, but there were townhomes. I mean, your neighbor's wall was your yard wall. So you really didn't, you lived in and it was a 4-bedroom home. And I regret that I left it. But I went to a home in Huntington Beach, which is Surf City, USA. And I fell in love with the home. The home is what took me. The price was expensive, $853,000. And it went up over $1 million. Wow. And I quick sold it to get money for my attorney. So I had to lose that home. So CPS took away my home because I spent over $350,000 in just direct costs with the attorney, let alone what it cost me, because I lost millions. I lost millions to CPS. If I did a lawsuit against CPS, it'd be in the neighborhood of 10 million or more. 10 million or more, because they damaged me big time. I don't know how you put a value on a 12-year-old daughter that was coerced into divorcing her parents. That was the sad thing that the CPS worker did. I could prove it in court. Right now, there's a court case that you're hearing where a man dismembered his wife. And, he's saying that, no, she died in her sleep. But why did he dismember her? It's really weird. But what I'm saying is that if I had known what I know today, I would never have bought there, even though the home was there. Um, I would have stayed in my same home because I was got what's called a predatory loan. The more money I made, the bigger house they gave you, the more money it got you into trouble. And I did not know that they raised my income to qualify me for the loan. But anyway, the mistakes I made have really hurt me because now I'm living in a small 3-bedroom apartment, still close to the beach, 3 blocks, but the rent is astronomical. And so in my later years, it's hard for me to work at my age, not because I don't feel good cover, because people that want to hire you don't want to hire somebody in their 70s. I'm 76 now. And so they don't like the idea that, oh, wow, you're 76, you must be a dinosaur. No, I'm not a dinosaur. I can still run around circles. I can still go in the ocean, and I can still ride a bike and do a skateboard at 76. I do. I do fight. I do fall down, and wow, a light just went out. Oh, hold on a second. I was sitting here talking, and um, let me get back to me here. Okay. Anyway, it's 101, which means it's over, and I probably ate up a lot of your time talking. And I'm sorry about that. I do need to say hello to Christina Reynoso again. She says a judge in Northern California was a CPS judge and a judge for the prisoners. Wow. Okay. Who is that judge there, Christina? And Rodney Brewer, I don't know where you're from, but what can I do to stop CPS from seeking guardianship with my kids? You got to get a lawyer, Rodney. A court-appointed attorney probably won't help you, but you need to get a lawyer. That's how you can get guardianship. And I don't know what CYFD stands for, Rodney, but you got to tell me. Anyway, going back to you, Andrea, I am so glad we had this conversation. I would definitely look into again tonight and ask me more questions. And call in about, go ahead, call in at about 7:10, 7:15. We'll call in to listen. Right, 9:15, 9:10, 9:15. Yeah. Yeah. And we will go through your questions because I will direct you. All the stuff that I find for you is from my knowledge in my head, which I have a lot of it, and I'm really happy to give it to you. It's a life skill. This is a life skill I do on here. CPS has been a life skill that I'm educating you guys on. And it's firsthand life skill. It's meaning that I was in the trenches. I know what it is to have CPS come knocking. I did it for 5 years and was able to get away from them. But unfortunately, a bell didn't go off my head to look them up. I should have looked them up when they had the first call, the first knock at my door. I should have investigated. No, no, because they for so long, like right now, a lot of the American people are in shock because we've closed our borders. We're no longer letting people in that don't want to know our history, our government, or speak a common language. We no longer want to let people in that want to commit crimes, rape people, hurt people, kill people like the innocent nurse in Athens near the University of Georgia. We don't allow people in, but people are upset right now because with us stopping it, because our goal is 1,000 people every day to be arrested, everybody thinks that Trump's gone crazy. It's one of his campaign promises. The same thing goes with his campaign promise of investigating the government agencies. He's doing that, but everybody's upset because he doesn't mess around. He doesn't do it one at a time. He en masse. He's trying to stop a drug problem right now, a drug problem that's gotten so rampant that people are being killed by fentanyl so bad. And everybody's now upset with him. And of course, you got the fake news and you got the news that are one-sided, and then you got the Democrats and Republicans fighting, and it's making him a miserable time. And when he does something that he wants and he can do, like remodel a ballroom or whatever he wants to do, he's got this funding for it. He has a job with zero pay. No one is paying his salary. Yes, he has business ventures, no question about that. He's a wise businessman. It takes a businessman to run our country. Politicians can't run our country. They're too caught up being friends with each other. And that's what the trouble with CPS. When you go to court, the CPS workers, the CPS attorneys, the CPS judge, the bailiff, the clerk, they're all palsy-wowsy with each other. It's a clique down there. And the Orange County courts are very cliquish. My attorney, they don't like him because he cleans house there. They don't like an attorney that can fight back. And so, anyway, enough of that. But I do want to thank you, Andrea, for sharing what you have. Please look up some of the stuff I said. You have to contact the civil rights coordinator. You need to go to the bar and make a complaint against your attorney. And I know it's extra legwork. And then document everything that you're doing. Document everything. And it takes time. It takes time to do all this. But watch your windows of time of making appeals. When something's come down, they always would tell you have 30 days, 15 days, or whatever it is to make an appeal on your case. Now, you said that that's several hearings. It's more than a 6-month hearing. So I don't know what the statute of limitations are in Kankakee County or whatever the county is it's called there. But yeah, the minutes is really good. The minute order was something very valuable. You're entitled to that. You're entitled to that. And if you're low income, they'll give it to you for no charge. You just got to fill out some forms. Anyway, I will talk to you again, Andrea, and thank you for calling in. Thank you, Christina Reynosa, for what you do. By the way, Andrea is from Kankakee in Illinois, outside of Chicago. And then Christina Reynosa is from Nevada, Las Vegas. And she is a very valuable resource. She does a lot of synopsises for people. Rodney Brewer, I don't know where you're from, but I want to help you. But I don't know what CYFD is from Guardianship of My Kids, but you need to get an attorney, Rodney, if you want to stop that. And then Erin's already told me about losing her first 2 children. She's trying to avoid losing her third. So she's in here twice a day. So Erin's from Tennessee. And thank you all, my listeners. I'll be on again tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to take my phone number down and put up the information about DOGE. That's the Department of Government Efficiency. That's the federal level that you can make something to happen. Make sure you try it first in your county and your state before you go to the federal. There's a website, look it up, learn all about DOGE. There's 2 phone numbers. You have questions, call them. They will take calls. And then there's an email, doge@mail.house.gov, that you can send your paperwork with a complaint or something that can help. Make sure every time you send something, you do a follow-up. A lot of people do something and won't do a follow-up. Follow-ups are very important, very, very important. So God bless you all. And if you ever think about you want to stop taking care of or fighting for your children, see me first. We should keep trying. I know some of you it's so discouraging, but keep trying. There'll be a brief video as I end my live stream. Please watch it. God bless you all, and I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last ones left. Put your faith in